In this game, there's a bunch of guys who died, but cling on to their life because of something intense happening in the past, so I go in and smack them into a peaceful afterlife. Kinda like people who are still playing World of Warcraft in 2022. We're just here to smack them into letting it go and moving on to something new. Ah, yeah, that's better. After that, we move on to the first major skip and reset point of the run. Here, you need to use an attack during a double jump, which gives you just enough height to get onto a pole. From the pole, you can jump onto the tree and roll boost out of bounds. It's not a perfect skip, but I don't lose a lot of time and continue the run. We then jump into a hole and activate our camera. By moving it towards the treasure chest, Kina enters a state where she can open the chest as if she's right by it at any point. But for now, we need to collect 5 little cute rock guys. I mean, look at these guys. I love the animation style of this game. So, you jump down this rock and get the first rock. And here's where you actually open the chest from earlier. By waiting until now, you can then collect the third at the same time, overlapping the cutscenes and saving time. Next, there's a pretty precise jump from this rock to the waterfall, and I missed it. Okay, I guess I'll just do this the casual way. So, after getting the final rock behind the waterfall, I restart from save and cut down the tree. I then make my way to one of the easiest skips in the game. So easy, I haven't even practiced it once. Well, I guess it'll just take 2 attempts here? Okay, the third try? Okay, I got it. Alright, you travel super high up and go to the next section. The next kind of difficult spot is you have to do a pretty precise sprint jump and then aim down sights. This saves a lot of time and it's a pretty precise, but it's not too bad and I make it after a couple attempts. This leads to the first boss, who is pretty easy. Basically, you can just stun lock him with heavy attacks and then you can move on. I decided to keep going because there are much crazier and more difficult skips coming up. Once you go up the stairs, there's a cutscene that starts playing. But if you pulse and roll in a precise way, you skip it and save more than 20 seconds. Next, you usually have to do a couple fights to clear the main village, but we're just going to roll up and jump along some houses, so I guess this village will just stay infested with evil spirits. But we don't really care about that since we want to save time. Then you roll up this tree which gives you a ton of height so you can get across the river. Next, we've got a super precise jump. I practice this a lot and it only takes me 2 attempts when it usually takes me like 5, so definitely a win and things are looking good. The next jump also requires the same short hop, but it's not as bad since the visuals here are clear, which makes the timing easier than crossing the last river. Also, this game has a glitch where during the first load of the game, if you light attack in the air, it will let you jump again in a specific window, making this jump possible. I then roll up some more invisible walls and take a long trip up the mountain. This is where you get the coolest upgrade in the game, and a tool for many more skips, which is the dash. Right away, we use it to go fast and skip to a couple different sections. You climb the mountain, and here we get to the second major glitch that saves a ton of time throughout the run, and it's called Hyperdash. For Hyperdash, you need to open photo mode at the same time as pausing. Exit photo mode, but not the menu. Dash and immediately open photo mode and do the cheesy emote, all in like half a second. This lets Kina travel a very far distance. The only downside is that Kina will then be stuck in the cheese or PC emote, and you'll be unable to do anything. She has to take damage or die to get out of it. The bosses in Kina have a similar feel to Dark Souls bosses, and this one is one of the most difficult bosses in the game. Even on story mode, you need very precise attacks in order to not waste a ton of time. If you don't combo him perfectly, he has a few different moves that can cause him to teleport away and be unattackable for more than 20 seconds. After getting the first few combos perfectly in this run, I try to interrupt his teleport, but miss, even though you can see me go right through him. Yeah, this game has a lot of things that are super precise. Luckily, he doesn't do his worst ability. I just have to wait a few seconds before comboing him down. Except I missed the first easy interrupt. Need to wait for one more ability sequence. But after the sequence is over, I'm able to combo him down and win the fight. Not an amazing fight, but not too bad. Then you need to travel a bit more, heading towards the next boss. You use dashes that are not very hard, and I died. But it didn't waste too much time, and I continue on to the next Hyperdash spot. Fly through the air, and then I do it again. These 2 Hyperdashes aren't too difficult. There are some later that are a lot more precise. Then, this lets me restart from save right in front of the next boss. This next boss is pretty easy, since you can get a super crazy strong upgrade that does like 2/3 of the damage you need throughout the fight. So you'll see me pick it up and then smash this guy. I didn't pick it up this time. So you can't get the upgrade in combat, so I restart and get the upgrade. But once I have the upgrade, I'm able to smash him. He doesn't have a lot of variation, and even if he does do something you don't predict, it doesn't waste a lot of time. Next, I fast travel to the archery area and refuse to fight any of the mobs, because I can just roll on over the corrupted tree that's blocking my path. Here, I go to the left so I can skip even more fighting and go up this rock, and finally I have a long area to cover. I make it to the most difficult and punishing skip in the entire run, and the reason I didn't reset earlier. I've never gotten this in a run before first try, and getting it will almost guarantee a PB. First, you climb up this rock, then you roll basically vertically because this game is amazing, and then you go up a rock without texture. On that rock, you need to do a super precise jump in order to get to the next section. I get it first try, and then I go to the hardest part of the run. First, I need to do the most precise hyperdash of my life in order to get through the first wall without hitting an invisible wall, and having the correct angle to land on a rock that is also invisible, but will spawn in right before I get to it. Yeah. I do manage to get it on the first try, and peace sign while slowly floating off of the floating rock in the middle of nowhere. I love speedruns. You'd think I did the skip and it's a big celebration, but that is far from the truth. There's another jump that I probably get about 30% of the time right after. There are a few ways to do it, but any of them are easy to mess up since there isn't a lot of platform to land on, and it's completely invisible. I walk up to the spot, I dash, and somehow it works. Now, this is a really good run. Then I can re-enter bounds and take this elevator, which is normally behind a long boss fight. But we don't like to fight anything in this run. I can then continue forward to some guy and get rewarded for my fighting with a bow. Next, I fast travel to the archery range again, this time to actually do the archery section. I go through the portal and there's a bunch of rocks that normally you're supposed to just blow up and get them out of your way. But yeah, we completely skipped that part, so we're just going to parkour our way instead of blasting our way through. Then there's another tough skip where you need to land on a small rock and then roll up another invisible wall. Once you do that, you can skip across and get to the next boss. First, you need to hit a bunch of targets and then the boss will spawn. Immediately, I need to hit the boss in the head so she falls down. This gives me the opportunity for a big combo, and then I rinse and repeat. Normally I miss some of these shots, so this run is looking super good now. After killing her, we move into the endgame section. First, we enter a huge boss room and fight Toshi from earlier. We beat him down with the upgrade and shoot him with spirit arrows until he peacefully passes. Then I skip a cutscene and get an upgrade for later and dash through the portal. From here, there's a pretty risky skip. It only saves about 10 to 20 seconds, but you lose more than a minute if you get the angle of the hyperdash even a little off. I decided to go for it because at this point, I know a sub 30 minute is possible, and I need every advantage I can. So luckily, I do manage to trigger the cutscene and enter the first phase of the final boss. During the first phase, he has a breakout of giant pink blisters, and you can shoot 3 of them right away and move on to the intermission. Here, I take down a bunch of little guys, and then go through a portal. In the second room, there's a mini-boss that is pretty annoying to deal with. You can use a strat to kill him consistently that involves dashing behind him, but I'm starting to feel pretty anxious about getting sub 30 minutes, so I mess it up. You can visibly see the stress I feel watching Kina attack. I do get a nice parry, but then he gets caught in the corrupted flower thing, which stresses me out more because I don't know how to deal with this. So I just bait him out a bit and finish him super slowly. But I do manage to get him down without wasting too much time and then collect my little friends that were held captive by the big bad guy earlier. I dash on through the portal and start phase 2 of the boss. The second phase is also really short, very similar to the first. You shoot 3 blisters and go on to the second intermission. The second intermission involves using all the abilities you've collected throughout your adventure. You need to use the bow, you need to use the dash, and you need to use the blowing up the rocks ability. But since we don't have that and we would like to skip stuff, there is a hyperdash that takes you to an earlier section where the portal to the boss still works. So I line it up and hyperdash on. And I miss it. This makes me super stressed and worried that the run is over because it's way easier to set this up on a first try than it is to set it up once you've missed. Alright, well, so I desperately try to realign it. Second try, let's see. It's looking good. Wow, a perfect shot right into the portal. Once I gain control again, I can go through the portal and enter phase 3 of the final boss. This phase is different. Rather than blisters, this time there are a bunch of spears in his body already. You can only attack the spears when he is charging up. So I get the first spear right away, he jumps away and I need to kill a few ads. Once they're dead, he comes back and charges right away. I get the second of 3 hits and now I need to wait out some of his attacks, which are actually pretty cool. Like, look at this beam. Once he charges again, I take him down, and now it's just a race to the final cutscene that ends the run. I watch the first cutscene, and then need to dash to the happy Toshi. I'm stressed and forget about what a controller is and just mash buttons until I get to him. Then I dash to the final meditation spot and end the run. 30:07, which puts me at a very reasonable top 10 on the leaderboard, and I'm very happy with my run. But if you look at the world record by version, I'm the #1 speedrunner at Kina. And I think current version is the category people really care about. If you like this run, you should click here for my mission through Horizon Forbidden West. Something I thought wouldn't be too hard ended up being a serious challenge with some ridiculous situations.